Hello and welcome to North Wilkesboro. My name is Justin. I'm the owner of Team 53 and I partner with Coach Dave Academy and Impel Motorsports to bring you this week's Learn to Drive video for ARCA Cars at the new North Wilkesboro as part of iRacing's 2025 Season 4 Week 2 official series. If you guys can, make sure you like and subscribe. It does a ton to help out my channel. I'm a very small time racer here in Wisconsin. I've got a late model a couple feet away from me. My daughter Sydney's been racing go-karts all summer long. She's going to be racing this weekend up at Road America and hopefully Sunday at Badger Kart Club. So if you guys are in the area, want to stop on by, you can definitely find us. Yeah, but anything you guys can do, whether it's a video watch, a like, a subscribe, a share, whatever it is, it all helps us out, helps keep us on track, and helps hopefully get me back on track next year. So um, here we are at New North Wilkesboro, and these videos, these Learn to Drive videos, are always a little difficult, mostly because we don't know how the track is going to race, but we don't know kind of the way that the track is going to change throughout the run. So this is a 45 lap race, which isn't a ton, but I do think you're going to see the track navigate upwards towards the wall. This video is going to show a little bit lower. We'll talk about running higher up in race trim, but queue times, none of this we really 100% know. I can tell you I ran this car probably about as hard as I feel as though I can run it. So hopefully these queue times will stack up and we'll see kind of here as the week goes on. So we're going to head out of the pits and you're going to see me tire heat. So what I do is it's a right left or left right swerve of the steering wheel and a gas brake alternate. So all I'm trying to do is just get heat in those front tires, and that's going to help with grip, especially when you go into turn one. We don't necessarily have to worry about that on some of the big tracks, but on these short tracks, it definitely seems to help. Um, and while we're doing that, you can head over to my friends at Impel Motorsports and impelmotorsports.com. They are a next level dealer as well as a Moza dealer. So if you're looking to upgrade your sim racing equipment, no better place than there. If you join the Team 53 Discord, we can get you free shipping on next level sim rigs. It's in our announcements tab pinned. So join there, and that's always a cool thing to have there. But you see here lap one, I'm just kind of feeling out grip here in one, and there's definitely not enough. So I'm going to go here lap two. I'm going to go high here in 3 and 4. A lot of you guys, if you're constantly getting out qualified by a half a tenth to a tenth, look at your drive off of 4 coming to the green flag and getting that momentum built up. That really seems to be a big thing that hurts a lot of people, is that they don't necessarily um, have this kind of set right to where they'll run low, but then they don't get as big of a run going down the front stretch. So we get a nice big run here going down the front stretch. You see here too, I'm placing my right side tires basically right here on this concrete. So if you're looking at your laps outside the car, that's something to shoot for. Right side tires on that concrete. We go down into one and we're going to lift and brake. So as we're looking inside the car, inside my cockpit, it's basically when the white and red wall starts. Not where North Wilkesboro is, but right here at this white and red patch or paint down the wall. That's kind of where we're going to start to think about braking. A little beyond that, maybe like the third one in, where that wall turns, the stoplight is, when that's in your peripheral, that's really when you're going to want to brake in on entry. And you can see here pretty decent braking getting into the corner. We'll roll it in, and I'm rolling into this middle lane here. We're going to go back to the far chase just so you can see placement a little bit better. But middle lane here on the track going into one. Um, you know, super late models, late model stocks, we might enter a little bit lower, but these ARCA cars right here, middle lane, let it drift up just a tick here in the center, right around window world, kind of where this opening is for pit exit, the white line starts there. That's where you're going to start to get back on throttle. You'll drive this car back down, and you can see here as I'm coming off the corner, I get to about 3/4 throttle with the wheel turn, but then as I want to give myself more throttle, I'm straightening out my wheel, and I'm just going to let this car naturally pull out to the wall. Right side tires on the concrete again going into 3. We head into 3, and we're going to lift and brake kind of when we get to pit entry, I believe it is, cockpit. Um, So we'll just go real slow here so we can see it. Yeah, so right when I lose those barrels in my peripheral, that's where we'll use that to brake. And then we're going to get all the way down to the bottom. You want to have these left sides right down here along this bottom line here if you can. That's definitely going to be a little bit faster for you. And then kind of the same thing as we come off the corner and we start to throttle up, we're going to straighten out that wheel. I'm going to hear a little bit of wheel spin underneath me. And that's something that I kind of tweak, and we get there for an 832. Just barely tapped the wall there. I think I could have not hit the wall and we'd have been okay, but we're going to show you that. I think I had an 834 hitting the wall, so clearly it didn't change too much. But let's head inside the cockpit from our friends at Overdrive Racing Oils and Lubricants. They're an independent AMSOIL dealer. If you do your own oil changes, I definitely highly recommend them. They've got anything from passenger cars, side-by-sides, motorcycles, you name it, they've got it for it. Link is in the description below. Every time you use that link to purchase from them, it gives us credit here on the channel, which helps keep all of this content free. So here we go. And there's your 832 lap. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Race trim. So let's head over to race trim. And one of the things that we talk about a lot on here is setting a race pace, right? You've got to let this car last for 45 laps. So you can see kind of this first session here. I really kind of went a little bit harder than what I needed to. Got to an 878 fast time. So that kind of told me that I needed to drop uh, some pace, really. So what I did was when I went back out for my second round, I kind of targeted like a low 9, high 8, so to speak, just to see where lap times were. And that really seemed like it was perfect for me. So if you didn't watch last week's video, a big tool that I use to help me with pace is I go into my settings, and then I believe it's under interface. I don't remember. We just had it last week. Interface on-screen displays. Yep, interface on-screen displays. And then I like to turn on my delta bar, display my delta bar. I have it, whether it's session optimal lap, session last lap, whatever it might be. I'll have it in there. I don't turn on the reference car. And then I have buttons bound on my steering wheel to tell me delta displays, what to be able to toggle between those two, and kind of get all of that squared away there, which is super helpful for me. So we have that all on there as well. So then what we'll do is we go back out, and I've kind of told you guys this before. Like if you have it set to session optimal, which is where mine is set to right now, so that shows me my best lap that I could possibly hit in this car. My goal then is going to be to go out and be about a tenth and a half to 2/10 slower than the session best lap, which I just flipped it to. So I really want to be right around a 98. Would probably be about as early or as fast as I'd want to go here early, right around there, just to kind of see where we're at. But you can see now the delta bar is showing on the top of my screen, which is really helpful for me because now I can kind of drive and figure out, okay, yep, we're a tenth off. First lap is usually a little bit more, but we can kind of see like where we need to be lap time wise. And so you can kind of use that as a tool to get yourself to the pace that you need and to be able to run that pace the entire race. And we're being, whoa, got a little loose there. But you guys understand the principle. That might have been some brake bias stuff that I was adjusting before. But basically, that's the way you're going to look at it, right, is do those things. And while we're looking at it, yeah, brake bias was still set to an earlier setting. It should have been at 59. Let's go back out and try that again. So that's another thing right there was an example of when you have your brake bias turned too far to the back tires will catch a little bit more and they'll slow down more. The rear end will kick out because you're stopping that quicker and you'll spin out like that. So make sure you've got that brake bias set. 5960 is where I'm recommending for most people to start the week. What you'll do then too is throughout your run, you're going to decrease that brake bias as you kind of start to feel the car get tighter on entry. You'll change that. I think for most, I'll probably have in the channel to start out at 60% brake bias, just to be safe. Um, it's really one of those where you want to run the least amount of brake bias that you possibly can to get this car to rotate as best as you possibly can. But on the same token, you don't want to have too much rotation like we did. So, and here we are about a tenth slower. So we could probably slow this down a little bit more. We'll go to our last lap. And we'll just be a little bit softer getting on throttle, not quite as aggressive going into this corner, roll it in a little bit more, let this car rotate center, and then we'll get back up on throttle. And now we're right around that 19.0 lap time. So nice and easy into the corner, give it a decent drive up off. Right down that backstretch, we can be a little bit more aggressive than what we were last time. I felt like we gave up a lot of time on exit there, or a little bit of time on exit. And now we're right back to the 958. So, like I said, you can use that delta, and you don't have to download Race Labs. You don't have to download any other add-ons for this. You can just kind of use that delta bar, and use this as kind of your reference. The other thing too that I was talking about with the brake bias, the best place to go for that is going to be to settings, and then I believe that's still under. It's going to be under cockpit. It looks like potentially. There's our black box. There's our delta, so you can set it there. Where did we move brake bias to? Car setup adjustments? It's under car setup adjustments. That makes sense. So you can see there brake bias set. I have a button set for that. So again, that's under settings. Keybinds, go all the way down to car setup adjustments, and then it's brake bias. And you can get that set. I have mine set so that when I turn my dial to the left, it will decrease my brake bias. When I turn it to the right, it will increase it. It just works well in my brain. We don't want to save any of those settings. Normally you would say yes, but we don't want to. So if you guys have made it this far, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe. Head over to Team 53 Discord. We're offering free ARCA telemetry for this season, just kind of seeing what people think of it. So head on over there, and we will see you guys in the next video.